I don't know. Helly never did any work. She came in and she
By the
was
way,
never.
some of us know people like that at actual work. They're always in the pantry, going to the bathroom, walking to your desk.
Coming by your cubicle, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, it's going
Be
on.
careful. I guess
Did you
you'll
see the
find out
score of the
that's
game last night?
Yeah,
Dude, I'm busy right now. I'm in a conference
you'll
call.
find out she's related to the owner, and you'll be like, "Oh,
yeah.
I should have been nicer to
That's
her."
nepotism at its best, right there.
DEI.
Greetings and welcome to another edition of the Heroes Peak podcast. I am your host, Chris, and I welcome you, everybody, to this meeting of the Innies. I am Chris W., and with me today are Mike and James. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right.
I mean, you're stuck at work 24, however many days of your life has been, so yeah, it's got to suck.
Yeah, I'm always working. Since I work mostly from home, I feel like I'm the innie and outie. That sounded kind of weird, but yeah, you know what I mean.
So it'd be nice if I could get a severance chip in my head until Trump's no longer in office.
Jesus.
Just drop these 4 years.
That's right.
Cole Harbor you.
Well, we'll see. It might. Oh, I was gonna say you're not even here. I was gonna say you might get your ass deported, but don't worry.
He's already deported.
That's right.
You self-deported, so you're good. All right. What we're talking about today is Severance Season 2. Well, we'll do Season 1 and Season 2. I don't remember if we did a Season 1.
We did.
Yes, we did. We did with
Yes.
Heath.
Fuck, I don't even remember that shit.
Talking about it.
I don't think you were there.
That's
Sorry.
why.
I remember James saying he didn't want to watch it.
That's correct. That is correct.
So anyway, Severance Season 2, the Apple TV Plus breakout series here. One of many Apple TV Plus breakout series if you're looking for a good streaming service. You want to spend your money?
Not a commercial, not an ad. We're not paid.
Well, they can pay us if they want, and then I'll give them a commercial. That'd be great.
I like that.
I have enough Apple boxes shipped behind me, so
I like that.
I'd be nice if they paid me. So there's 20 episodes between the two seasons, 10 per season. First season came out in 2022, so not too bad between
3 years ago
seasons. I mean, we've got a lot of 3 and 4 years between seasons coming around on some of these shows. So I guess every other year isn't horrible, though I would like to see some of these turn to once a year, especially if you're only doing 10 episodes. Yeah, we could do once a year. Anyway, that's a different conversation. So this is multiple writers, multiple directors, but mostly it was created by Dan Erickson, and many of the episodes directed by Ben Stiller, you know, the comedy actor who's actually a great director if you take a look at his stuff. And here we're gonna start with, if you haven't seen this, TV series is different than movies because I don't expect most people have watched the whole series by the time they see, especially this series, which we just finished a couple days ago, right? The finale released Friday?
What, Severance? Yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just watched it today for the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it Thursday night because, I don't know, for some reason it drops there Thursday nights up here at like 11
Yeah,
p.m.
you always confuse me when you're telling me Severance time. Like, dude, it's 8 o'clock Thursday.
Look, I know. I pull up Apple TV and they're like, new Severance. I'm like, okay. I guess I'm watching Severance.
We need more of those tariffs.
Better, I guess.
Sir, you got some more of those tariffs. Get out goddamn shows on time.
That's right.
Yeah, we're paying a 25% time tax on Severance releases. So the first thing I'm going to have each of us do is a very quick watch or don't watch for people. Maybe we throw it up on TikTok or whatever. And then we'll get into the full spoiler review afterwards. So I'm going to go around the horn here. A quick synopsis, what you thought of the season, good or bad, no spoilers. James, go ahead.
Let's be honest, guys. This season, the show itself is great. This season, however, was underwhelming. There were moments that were fantastic. There were moments in time of the show. At least
John
2
Turturro, I'm looking
episodes.
at you.
I thought the Gemma episode was phenomenal. There's one other episode that was phenomenal by itself as a self construct. But over the entire 10 episode arc, this fell short of the high bar that season 1 had. And although I'm not as entertained this time around, I still say you should watch the show, regardless of opinions on the overall season. It still has some great, phenomenal casts, some great performances. Um, Finale being what it is, we'll get to that later. But I would recommend for someone who's heard of it through word of mouth to watch this show both seasons.
All right, great. Mike, what do you think?
All right, James. You didn't have me in the first half. I'm not gonna lie, but you had me in the second half. So yeah, I thought it was a great season overall, but I agree, not better than the first season. And some really great episodes this season, phenomenal. That episode 7, I'm still talking about it, and not from the and I told
Sorry.
the Gemma episode.
Oh yeah.
The Gemma episode
We're
is
aligned.
episode
Yeah, we're
7.
definitely aligned on that one.
And I keep saying to people, it's not about the writing for me in that episode. The directing and the editing is going to win an Emmy next year, just based on that. It won't win for writing, but so some excellent additions this season. What's her name? Captain Phasma was excellent.
Brianna Clark. Brianna
Captain Phasma, dude. She's Captain Phasma. So excellent. Milchick killed it this season.
I thought you said
he was the MVP.
Milkshake.
Yeah,
And
he
Mr.
was.
Milkshake, yeah.
Milkshake was the MVP.
Milkshake, Mr. Milkshake.
Yeah, Mark kind of had me like, dude, what the hell are you doing? For most of the season. And there's a lot of stuff we'll get into, but
yeah, Mark the Any is the worst character.
All right, no spoilers.
yeah, no, we're not spoiling yet, but I'm saying that just based on just the characters' arcs, some of them had me going, what the hell? Like Dylan's Any as well. You know what I mean? So, but we'll get into it. But, overall, definitely still I'm looking forward to season 3, man. Bring it.
All right, time for Chris to glaze on this show. Go ahead, Chris.
Sorry, you had me looking up actors' names. Shit, where is she? I know she's in here.
Helen?
Gwendolyn Christie.
Oh.
Gwendolyn Christie. Anyway, that's beside the point because this was a fantastic season. Is it better than season 1? That is a tough one. Everything's difficult to get past, like how good when something new drops and it really kind of takes you by surprise. And so it's really hard to get past that. And I think there were episodes in this season that were better than season 1, but maybe not as a whole. Similar, but maybe not better. It's hard to say.
You said episodes
if anything,
plural? I'll make sure I heard you correctly.
Yeah,
Is it
they were
plural?
episodes plural. This whole thing, it's a delicately paced show, and I've come around to really enjoying that. Let's start off with something that James suggested I watch, which is a Sergio Leone movies. And
which one?
not a few dollars more. The one, A Fistful of Dollars.
Ooh, okay.
And so that pacing, that letting the
dare.
character enter,
Don't you dare.
that letting a character enter a space and letting them like fill a scene, and I've really come around on that style of filmmaking. And there are several times in this season where this show did that. It really allowed space. It really allowed the visuals to
Chris came to play. Like, he's using something that I really adore and love to make his point. It's supposed to be good. Well played.
And another thing that this show has in spades, and even better in season 2 than 1, is production design.
Yes.
This thing lands everything.
Obviously, obviously.
Everything you look at is wonderful, and so that's one of those things that like those check marks that kind of raises grades outside of other things. And I'm not against the writing. I'm not saying the story is bad. I'm not saying the only thing I like is the visuals. I'm just saying that the visuals are so high that it draws me in. So the top mystery, the corporate horror, the sci-fi twists, I really like the whole thing about it. And so yeah, I definitely recommend it. I could give or take whether season 1 or 2 is better. Really doesn't matter. I think they're both good. So yeah, definitely recommend
Well,
it.
let me check the
So
mail for my Apple TV.
your check. All right, now we're gonna get into full on spoiler territory. What the fuck, Mark S.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
You've heard of this. You've seen this, right? You know what that is.
It is unavoidable. It is your destiny.
Is this not why you are here?
Do or do not. There is no choice.
Knock that shit off.
Now, do you guys want to start with the finale, and just because we are full spoilers, so if someone has watched it,
Let's go.
because
Let's
that's
go.
what's fresh in our minds.
Let's do it.
Oh, Helene, what have you done?
Yeah, so this is so wild. We
Poo-tang,
go
as
through
Mike
this-
said.
Actually, I really enjoyed Mark. It was kind of the first time that Adam Scott, I think, was the best actor on the scene or on the screen for the whole episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
And
This was
he
his
really got
episode.
Yeah, he really got space to go. I loved the innie and the outie argument, which is something they were building all season. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
cool for
something
you,
they were
dude,
building.
but not my hair.
That the innies are starting to feel like they're total, real, separate people as opposed to just a piece of something else. And
Stop talking to my wife. Like,
Right.
it's you.
They were using Dylan all season. This is like what they were using Dylan to build for us. Is this?
I get it. We have the same physiology. That's why you find her attractive. Like, what the?
Dude, Zach Cherry didn't get a ton of time this season, but when he got a few really good scenes, and and his reading of the letter to himself was so funny. Dude, that was good.
Yeah.
But tell me what you thought of the finale. So it was a long season of a lot of tension building and a lot of great scenes, if not full episodes, James. The finale kind of, I don't want it wasn't as boisterous as I kind of expected it to be for all that happened.
Wait a minute. We had a full-on marching band, and you're calling it not boisterous?
That is true.
Good point.
That has taken the internet by storm. Like the entire social media
Memes,
posts.
gifs. Oh man, yeah.
Oh, those are great. It's fantastic. But Mr. Milchick got locked in a bathroom for the real finale. Like, he was great to start, but it was like he really got put out to pasture for that last
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. And he was probably, other than Adam Scott, he was probably the best performance with the finale. You know what? Let me ISO real quick.
Yeah,
If you don't mind, Mike. I think, by the way, the finale was an hour 25 minutes. It's the longest episode they've ever had between the two seasons.
Mm.
Wow, was it? I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Wow,
I
it was better than
I did, because I was texting you guys. I paused and I saw how much bar I had left to watch. I'm like, where are we going? Where are we going? My biggest problem with this season, which I mentioned earlier, was I think the finale represents that problem. We fell in love with season one because, first of all, it's a brand new IP. It's not based on any novels or whatever, and it reminded a lot of the people who love this show of the typical corporate working world that we're all involved in, and how we separate ourselves when we go home to our loving wife and kids or whatever, and then we go to work and we're a different person. So I thought season one was fantastic, the way that they kind of displayed this concept. Season two went away with that and tried to be Lost, a show I loved, with all these mystery
You've been
boxes.
mentioning Lost a lot over the last few
Dude,
weeks.
Supernatural Lost top 5, you failed. Um, it tries to be Lost where it introduces a bunch of mystery boxes to have you talking when you go to work. Did you see the goats and the number and blah blah blah? And then Cobell episode that was supposed to be like to me it felt like a filler episode when I watched it twice. The first time I was a little inebriated. I went back and watched it sober, and my feelings were the same. Like it didn't. It only revealed one important um, fact to the show, but beyond that, I felt it was unnecessary. The finale to me encompasses all that. There's a lot of good moments, good to great moments that involve obviously Mark's character and Ian Audi, and then a lot of dumb fucking moments. So, what are we doing here? The big ass dude. Everything with him, like I thought he was supposed to be like a menacing character. Like he must be the number two or whatever. And come to find out, no, he's another big brute with the full beard that thinks like he's like you take away all the mystery, but you're throwing in new mysteries to me. And then the freeze frame at the end, I'm like, God damn it! Like for every great scene I get with Gemma and Mark, and Milocek, the 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 band orchestra, I get tons of dumb fucking episodes. Oh, I'm sorry, not episodes, moments in the show that to me is like, what are we doing here? Like, I hate to use that phrase because you know why, but like, what the heck is this? Like, this doesn't advance the story or plot. It doesn't intrigue me. Like, you just gave me a good moment with these two characters, and then now you're taking away by giving me something irrelevant or like, like, is this for shock value? That's my problem with the finale. I think the finale to me encompassed the entire season, and I wasn't really thrilled about it. Although there were some moments that I was like, fantastic, well done. But then you put shit right behind it, and I'm like, oh fuck.
All right, Mike.
I don't know. I think all those points you're talking about as filler or whatever, I think like a lot of that goes to show the corruptness and just weirdness of the corporation. And I mean, if you notice, they kind of revere the Egans as like gods almost. You know,
Did they? No.
it's almost cult like worship.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
all right.
kind of
Okay,
specifically
I
in
agree
the
with that. Yeah, you're right.
yeah.
and like the stuff with the goats is it sacrifice for like I have a feeling all this stuff is going to get resolved. Like we're going to find out how weird the corporation really is and what their overall. I have a feeling there's an overall plan for severance for people being severed, and it doesn't have to do with just work, like almost cult like
Oh, that's obvious, dude. You
mind
just
control,
not
right?
realize. I realized that from the
Yeah.
beginning of the season that it's
Mm,
either the cure resurrection of who the founder is or something pertaining to that. To me, that was
yeah.
obvious from like the beginning of the season. Look ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Well,
and there's a lot of stuff like still out there, yeah, that needs to be answered for sure. Like why they want to kill Gemma after she completed Cold Harbor and all
see,
that
that's
stuff.
where
So
I have a theory
yeah, go
on
ahead.
Gemma.
Shoot, yeah, I want to hear
Okay,
it.
she's not actually going to die.
Okay.
The personality he knows as Gemma is gonna die.
Right.
Yeah, and
She will become a different person who never knew Mark.
Mm-hmm.
So Gemma dies. His Gemma
but
dies.
who's that
Whoever
person going to
she
be,
is,
Chris? Who will she
whichever
become?
of that is that the new daughter?
She would
Are they
become
replacing?
Kiev or whatever the person that they all
One of the Egans, yeah.
yes, they're resurrecting him into her body.
Oh, I guess I never got that far in my theory
That's what I was thinking too, but I was like
of where she was gonna
I
go.
nothing led
But
me
yeah,
to believe that they were able to implant another personality into a person yet, right?
well,
And that's
it
the
was
purpose.
something about going through
Mm.
25 different personalities, and then they reintroduce her to the thing that sent her to them in the first place, which is the baby, taking apart the baby
Mm-hmm.
carriage, the crib,
Yeah.
and that she was not reacting whatsoever. he was the one guy was watching with bated breath with
Bated
Beth,
breath. Look like a goddamn creep online.
right? He did. Um, but then Mark kind of she still didn't know who he was when he first entered. So that was the weird part. Like she
Mm-hmm.
reverted as soon as she left the room. So I was confused because they finished Cold Harbor. What didn't happen? That was my biggest confusion is what changed because they finished Cold Harbor. She got in the room. She was the 25th personality, and then she got as soon as she left the building, she was Gemma again.
Right.
So that's the question I have is what got missed? No, they didn't sacrifice the goat, but I thought that was more symbolic
Not
than
Brianna or Tarth didn't think it was symbolic.
well, obviously they put her in charge of raising them and
Right.
she freaked out. But you could see like this whole season was and this is why the Milchick stuff in the final episode kind of bothered me. It felt like the everybody was they were losing control. The Kiers were losing control, or
Mm.
whoever actually is in charge is losing control slowly as their grip tightens as they get close to completing whatever this finale thing is. Um, Mr. Milchick is starting to stand up for himself. The girl, what was her name? The young
The young
girl,
Asian actress.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Miss Huang, she kind of was weirded out. We kind of lost that character at the end too. She didn't
Problems.
actually,
Now you're coming on my
but
side.
but she was doing what Patricia Arquette's character was. Something about a kid who goes into the system as a young. Again, this is it. Probably all relates to this mind control thing, but I'm not exactly sure where. And maybe that's okay because we got a third season coming up. But I was a little confused at the end. I thought I did lose what I was hoping to see out of Mr. Milchick. Um, I don't think Zach Cherry got what he deserved at the end of the season, but did I did like the whole chase setup and the rooms and the weirdness and the. It wasn't my favorite episode of the season though,
Mm-hmm.
and yes, the final part of Mark S. choosing to be himself, choosing to live, choosing his own love. It's interesting choice writing wise and not what I expected to see, which is good. But like 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 James said, I didn't like the freeze frame either. Visually, for all the great visuals throughout this season, the freeze frame bugged me.
I get. I can understand why he did it because he doesn't trust that his Audi's. If his Audi reunites with Gemma, that's it for him, right?
Yeah,
He's
that's all
never
he
going
believes.
back to Lumen again.
He doesn't believe he's gonna finish
Right.
the merge.
Integration, yeah. So he thinks he's dead, and I don't think that was Helly. I think that was Helen at the end.
That's a good call.
Yeah,
I think the override was done.
I saw a podcast this afternoon that theory came up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and because she kind of gave that look in her eye towards Gemma, like he's mine now, bitch.
Yeah, there was a look afterwards after he
So
started.
Yeah,
to turn.
but then that theory, which I also understood, it makes no sense when you think about the fact that Gemma was critical to the Cold Harbor process. Like we needed her, and what's his
mhm.
name yelled "fuck" like the Egan dad, James Egan, whatever his name was. Like to me, it was if that was Helen. Yes, we know she's an odds of her dad, and as an outside, but she would have demanded or tried to manipulate Mark to keep Gemma also inside, as opposed to
I
having.
don't know about that. I don't know because
Yeah, it kind of depends what you think her what she's trying to accomplish is.
see the thing is, what I think is she wants Mark for herself. She's become infatuated with him.
Audi or the innie. Let's
They both. She saw him at the restaurant. She went to see him at the restaurant.
Yeah, that was weird. That was
Yeah.
a funky scene.
And
It
she
didn't
was
go
kind
as
of manipulating him, like messing with his mind there.
I
Okay.
thought she was
Great
just
point,
trying to
Mike.
see
That's a great
how
point.
much. I thought they were just trying to gauge how much he knew as an Audi to his
Yeah.
innie.
All right, that's a good
I,
point. I didn't think about that.
So I have a feeling she just wants him any Audi both for herself, and I at this point it has nothing. Her intentions, I don't think, have anything to do with the company. Her
which
point one was fuck you, right?
Yeah.
which
So
is interesting because when like the dad came in and he told her that the Audi was not who he thought was Kier, it was the innie,
hmm
which was the personality with more fight, with more determination, with more whatever you might want to.
Yeah, unless the Audi was playing a long con game to fool everyone. See, again,
Yeah,
we're
I don't think
actually
so, though. I don't think so at that point. I
we
think
are
she's aiming at that
improving
point.
we are improving the narrative by all that speculation right
I
now.
don't think
No,
you're
but listen, I
improving
don't
it
think she
because we don't
was.
have any answers.
I don't think she
Really,
was the Audi at that point until the alarms went off, and then I think they may have overridden her to step in. So
I mean,
That's a good theory.
this is one of
Yeah,
those mysteries.
good theory.
Mystery boxes are easy to make and hard to open. Ask
Lost,
J.J. Abrams.
lost.
So, as you build a mystery of this overbearing corporation that has these weird rituals that seems kind of almost has people that almost worship them, they worship themselves, it's easy to make that. But then you have to start answering the question, well, what is this weird shit they're doing? Why are they doing it? Where did it come from? And those can hit or miss. And I didn't mind a lot of the buildup. Yes, the big guy with the beard kind of never got to do anything
Shout
interesting.
out
Mr.
to
Drummond,
yeah, shout out to the Icelandic actors. He's an
Yeah, I
Icelandic
mean
actor.
it was I just like who was he? Why was he in charge? It was great to see like he gave Milchik a chance to stand up to him. He gave um Goat Lady a chance to stand up to him.
Goat lady.
He obviously beat the shit out of Mark, which we all kind of want to do now. Um, but like he was just kind of this weird character that pushed things along in scenes rather than
he's
being
no, he's the
a real
perfect embodiment of upper middle management.
character.
That's all it was.
That's true. That's true. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I'll give you that one
Um,
too. Mike's on fire tonight.
I think I think a lot of the corporate horror this year was really good in the sense of, hey, there was a mistake that happened, but we need these people around, and we got to make them happy. So what are things we can do that don't actually accomplish anything, but we can pretend or we're doing something? And I really liked a lot of that stuff this year. I thought that was funny and interesting, and I know it was less plot focused, but it kind of set the world up in a fun way for me. So I don't know if James you really like that. Obviously the episode where they went camping is such a wild episode, but it has like one of the best scenes in the entire series in
And
it.
this is
hmm
this
The
is indicative of the entire season.
John
Shit,
Turturro's like
great. Shit.
really like killing it. I think for all the main characters, they got at least one scene to really show off, and they all did this year. I would say that for
Yeah.
all of
I
the
agree.
actors.
Yes, I agree with that.
Um, let's see here. Uh, oh, one thing I wanted to point out. So the Harmony Cobell episode, Patricia Arquette's hometown return to the cannery,
hmm
kind of very weird, very slow, but visually stunning episode was actually kind of fascinating for me.
Yeah.
But you're right, James, in the sense that it felt a little indulgent on the side of the creators here, writing and videography or cinematography and everything. It was very indulgent. It was like this could have been the the flashes while other shit was going on during another episode, right?
Yeah,
But there's an interesting setup in there that we see Mrs. Huang, the young girl, go through. And so there's obviously that, and it also gives us a reason why Harmony kind of is helping Mark and how she knows everything,
Mm-hmm.
because she's the actual creator of the technology,
Right.
which is kind of an interesting peek into that character, even though again she doesn't get to do as much, even though she's got
See,
some
the more and more
interesting
you talk, the
interactions.
more and more you're aligning with me.
But my
Not
theory.
so far.
Okay, so here's my theory about that episode.
Hmm.
So that was a Lumen factory town.
Hmm.
Something terrible went down, and Harmony came up with this Severance idea and brought it to Lumen. After something went down, and she said, because and it affected her mother too, right, directly.
Hmm.
So I have a feeling shit went down. She created this thing and brought it to them and said, "Look, this is how we can prevent something like that from ever happening again." So I have a feeling we'll find out what happened in that town
Yeah, but
to
that
for
Or
the
theory sounds
catalyst
great.
for.
similar idea, but she helped her mother forget something terrible that happened.
Right.
And she
Okay. Good.
brought
Yep.
that to Lumen,
Yep.
and Lumen realizes they could make the whole town forget something they did, a
Right.
horrible thing. And they are using that, hoping to get to the point where they can basically reset the population to forget whatever they want them to forget.
Yeah, but you
Okay.
guys are forgetting the other main thing about Kier, whatever his name is, and how he likes the cult leader of this entire thing. That
Hmm.
doesn't
Mm-hmm.
tie into Factory Town theory. It's got to be bigger than just that theory. It's got
Well,
to
that's
be
just the
like,
start of the technology in the company. Is like this
Like,
weird
yeah.
little cult, because her sister. Is that her sister or her aunt?
I I
I
think it's
couldn't
her.
quite.
No, I think it's her aunt. You're right. Yeah.
Okay, but she was ready to burn her notebook when her sister
oh
broke
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
to for
Yeah.
the evidence. Her sister was a cult member basically, and Harmony was picked as some sort of child prodigy
Mm-hmm.
for this cult. And so there you got these two things going on at once, is this weird cult family, and then this weird technology that's going to empower this cult family beyond small town cannery cult.
So like
You know what I
global
mean?
domination, that's whack. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know how far they're gonna go with it. Like, what are they really haven't given us an aim for the Kier
yeah.
yet.
I like all the flaws we're finally talking about in this show. As great as certain performances are, but go ahead, Chris.
Hmm. Okay, let's talk about, so John Turturro didn't get kind of got he didn't get sidelined, because for the first bunch of episodes he was there. He really didn't get too much the first couple of episodes until he got the big scene in the woods, and then got booted, and then he had a couple of good scenes with Christopher Walken, and then he got driven away and never seen again, at least until maybe season 3.
Sad.
Do we have any questions about what's going to happen to him? Are those just two lovers who are going to go away, or what what's happening there?
Like, I'm
Nobody
looking at
knows.
you because if I'm going in, it's gonna be like that was terrible that they decided to write his exit at least for this season. You had a good to great character, and you opted to fridge that character, for lack of a better word,
Mhm.
and I think it took away some of the good things about the character and the show. And it doesn't matter to me how and when or how where he comes back in season 3 if he comes back, but you it didn't play well with this particular season, in my opinion. Um, I thought that's another bad move on the show to again exit stage left this character. Mike,
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know. I think a lot of the goal was to separate Mark and Helly from everybody else. And like, how do you do that? How do you
but
silo
you had
those
the
two?
recipe already in season 1 with Dylan and John Turturro's character, where they had a pretty strong friendship. Like you
Yeah.
already had that. You could have done the Mark and Helen character siloed from everyone else, but they decided no, I'm just gonna take him out entirely and
Hmm.
give us a B subplot on this Audi and breaking up somebody else's home, happy marriage. Yeah,
I thought that was a fun little subplot, especially if you're trying to set up the idea that the innies and the outies are at odds, and this technology doesn't actually work that way.
you didn't need
Doesn't
that.
work that
You had
well.
Dylan and you had Mark. You already, and then you had Helen. You had three great examples about the innies and the outies being at odds. You already had that.
Um,
And Dylan this season was perfect contrast between his innie and outie. That was terrific. So
Yeah.
why? So why? Anyway, yeah. Sorry, Chris.
no, that's all right. I'm just kind of going over all of the things. Like now, I'm questioning if this was all to build Gemma, then what the hell was Dylan doing for the past 2 years? Dylan doesn't know Gemma, does he? Are we
Exactly.
gonna
Well,
find
That's
he
what the
knows.
later?
He
theme
knows Miss Casey.
was.
He knows Miss Casey.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
not what the
but
experiment was about.
the
No.
experiment was building Gemma new personalities, and the reason they need Mark so bad is because as her husband, as his great love, he could feel things. And that's what he said. What do you get when you get the numbers? I feel things. And those feelings are what I'm dumping into these little buckets. So, what is if that's happening because he's got a relationship with her, what the fuck has Dylan been doing as like the best one of the group in that group
All
for
of
the
them, not
last
just Dylan, but yeah.
I don't know. Helly never did any work. I never. She came in and she
By the way,
never.
some of us know people like that at actual work. They're always in the pantry, going to the bathroom, walking to your desk.
Coming by your cubicle. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, it's going
Be
up.
careful. I guess
Did you
you'll
see the
find out
score of the game
that
last night?
Yeah.
I'm busy right now. I'm in a conference
you'll
call.
find out she's related to the owner, and you'll be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I should have been nicer to
That's
her."
nepotism at its best, right there.
DEI.
Yeah, I mean, again, those are the sci-fi mystery thing is something. It sounds really cool. You get this small group, you set them up. They're doing a mystery project. In the end, it's we're building a personality for this person. Blah 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 blah. But sometimes that sci-fi mystery it gets a little thin in the connective tissue at certain points, and it happens in some of the greatest sci-fi we've ever seen. Like James, you got that nice Star Wars poster behind you, and some of those connective tissues have gotten real thin, real thin. As
Over
those brothers and
time.
sisters.
Time out. Over time.
Wait.
Look,
Who
it's fully
kissed in? Who
plausible
kissed
that
in the
Boba
first
Fett
movie?
climbed out of that pit.
It took 30, 40 years for us to dissect.
No.
This
The
show's only been
second
around for 3
movie.
years.
In the second movie, George had already changed his mind what the shit was happening, and
Yeah,
so
But we didn't know. We loved the shit out of it.
we did, and we're willing to look past sometimes those thin connective tissues you have to kind of gloss over for the enjoyment of the rest of the
I'll
story.
give you that. I'll give you that.
Otherwise, Luke and Leia kissing should have thrown us all out of Coruscant forever.
Well, not anymore in modern day. You got HBO, White Lotus, and Game of
Yeah,
Thrones.
George can just come on and go, I was the original Game of
Yeah.
Thrones. This was on purpose. Didn't you know Padme was Anakin's cousin?
Oh God.
Jesus. Ew.
Anyway, all right. We talked about the finale. Is there any other character that like jumped out that you wanted to discuss? Whether Miss Casey, Gemma, or his Adam's sister. I
Yeah,
think she got a good scene or two.
there's a lot of theories that she's like on the inside.
A mole? Oh,
Oh,
come on, man. Stop.
Yeah, something like that. I don't.
I
It
have
doesn't really hold up, but
I have not listen to any theory crafting for this show because I wanted to finish the season.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, all this is new to me. What about the lady that was doing the brain work on Mark? I'm trying to find her.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
God,
the
what
black
was her?
actress. She was in.
Yeah.
She was like
Natalie, was
one
that
and a
her
half
name?
episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they didn't give her anything in the final finale or
There's a lot of people that they left off. I mean, what happened to the brother? Remember the brother who wrote the book and the story and the theory that got
well,
Mark on his
there
journey?
was an interesting scene where he was basically being courted and him and his wife got into an argument because he was like
Yeah.
giving up his moral theory
Oh,
for the money. But that never went anywhere. Again, that's kind of one of those things where they probably started. It's an interesting something they wanted to write, and it kind of left in the editing room. Would be my
yeah, not liking it. But go ahead.
guess.
Well, somebody's
I don't
gonna
know.
look
There's not
after the
much more to
baby
it.
while the sister was away with Mark, right? So she just had that baby.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
All right. What was your? I'll ask this. We know what James said. No, Mike said the best episode was episode 7. So
That's the Gem episode,
James,
right?
it
Yeah,
was the
I
gem episode.
concur. That was
Okay.
bar none. That was the best episode. Maybe for slightly different reasons. I know Mike was all over the editing and but
The transitions, man. The transitions were godly.
The
Godly.
cinematography was
to
fantastic.
Oh,
me, I was like
beautiful.
steak and
Beautiful.
potatoes. The story, it advanced a mystery we had from season one about Miss
Mm,
Casey. It advanced that part of the show. It was terrific acting and performances. I don't
yeah.
care how many split shots you have because I can argue to you the finale actually was. You want to get into like cinematography was better with the scene where Mark Innie and Mark Audi. That was
Hmm.
creative.
Oh, that was great too. Yeah.
To me, that was better than the Gemma episode on the technicality of it.
So
Yes,
same
yes,
director of photography
yes,
for
the
that episode
technicality.
as
I'm talking
well.
about the show as a whole, the episode as a whole.
Yeah.
But the episode 7 was phenomenal from beginning to closing credits, and I thought like
Hmm.
this is what the show should be more like.
Yeah.
We got the big mystery box, J.J. Abrams' laws, but why do I care? Because these characters matter to me, and I need to
Right.
know their motivations. I need to know their trauma. I need to know their aims and goals. That episode to me was like the example of what season one was like.
Mm.
But you take that episode out and you give me the other 9, there's very little of that. I mean,
I wouldn't say that. I thought episode 6. So the is that the snow episode?
The
The
camping one?
camping episode. Was camping 6 or 5?
I'm not sure.
probably 5. I think it was before that.
Um and I have to say, like, going back and looking at story wise, I thought that was so interesting the way they kind of built slowly as a lot of comedy, a lot more fun than
Hmm.
some of the other episodes. And oh, episode 4.
Yeah,
Wow.
episode
That's
4. Yeah.
way before.
Yeah, I thought it was
Rose
earlier. Yeah.
Hollow. Yeah. Um and yeah, I guess that is rated second to your Gemma episode 7.
Mm.
I'll give you that.
So
Yep,
like the
I agree. Again,
and
2 for 10.
but again, that's where John Turturro really got to show out. I thought the Helly's actress got to really show out in that because obviously she was playing slightly different, and I really should go back and watch that. I'd like to see how she played different from her normal Helly character
Hmm.
because I think it would be kind of noticeable knowing the trick after the fact, and that was really interesting. Other than that, um, every scene with Milchick this season, except for the last, like him in the bathroom, even though it was kind of funny, like he was such a fantastic character this season. Every time he showed up, he was doing or saying something interesting, and then making him kind of almost turn on the founders was such an interesting piece, and then it got left, unfortunately. His vocabulary thing was great. You know, obviously
By
he
the
needs
way,
a good
can we
news
talk
story.
about that? Because I agree with. I'm finally. You and I are aligned on these particular points. I thought Milicich's character reminded me, and I guess I'm probably the only person here that can say this, is like as an African American in the corporate world, the idea of code switching, very
Hmm.
controversial by the way, where you have to almost over exaggerate your intellect and the manner of speaking and your physicality to feel like you're part of the typically white cisgendered male corporate culture. I think Milicich's character, and I don't know whether this is purposeful or not, kind of depicts that his experience. Over exaggerated, yes, vastly over exaggerated. As I'm using all these words right now to prove a point. Um, and I really wish we can get more into that in season three. Like, what drives him? Like, we have no idea of his backstory. We have no idea
Well,
of what like Mrs. Coble. We know her backstory now. Um, but he's been just as prominent as Mrs. Coble from season one. Yet there's still so much about him we don't know. Like there was moments in the finale, like you make fun of the locked in the bathroom scene. I
mhm.
thought that was probably the most real he's ever been as a character, where he's just
And
a
how angry
fucking
he was getting.
animal. I need
Yeah.
to get the fuck out. I'm tired of this bullshit. I'm tired of managing with all its fucking issues.
Because he's taking crap from both sides,
Yes,
not just upper management, but he's
Well,
employees are giving him crap too.
and that's the
see, this
shit that
is
I
where
really like. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I had to throw that in
this is
there.
where I was just so disappointed that I didn't get something like a turn or a something from him, because he got to stand up. Like his stand up scene to the big guy with the beard was fantastic. It felt like such a release for everybody watching, I think,
Yeah,
because normally it would be like you're not smart enough, but they were trying to dumb him down. Like
Right.
there was something about corporation trying to dumb him down, and him fighting against
too
that.
verbose, man.
Um,
That's a real thing, by the way, real thing.
Mm.
and then, well, I guess that's all also to lower his standing, and to so he has less, he can stand up less because he's lower.
Yeah,
You know what I
he's
mean?
too
Like,
uppity. You're too uppity.
Uppity. That's the term they. Yeah.
I
Uppity.
don't want to
Right.
say, but fuck it.
No, I know.
but
You're right.
but then there's the weird, like early in the season when he got the promotion and he's got the room, and they were giving him things like they gave him the Kier paintings, but they painted all the people black, and like the look on his face was so amazing. And then he's looking at the lady who's delivering them, the voice of the
She was black as well.
and
So
he's like, "What did you feel when you got these?" And
right.
she had this weird automaton reaction to him that I couldn't read. I don't know if you guys read something specific out of it.
No, I'm with
I
you.
feel like
Same thing with the
she's been
Kier.
wiped
Same thing with
clean.
the Kier. Little animatronic, whatever you call it.
The
Oh,
robot dude. Yeah.
when he
Holy
goes,
shit!
"Yeah, I see you've added 5 inches to." Sorry, go ahead.
No. I have nothing else to say. I just wanted to because you had me thinking about his character, and it reminded me something that I was thinking about as I'm watching.
So what I think though for his character overall is he's either going to be their biggest Mark's biggest ally or his biggest enemy. So I don't know which way he's going yet though.
Well, I guess now that Mark is in the building and isn't leaving, we'll see what
Yeah.
Milchek versus the marching band and Dylan, and then
There's going to be
like,
repercussions, that's for sure.
well, I'm just like, it was weird watching them run through the hallways and there was like no security. It was like the doctor and the nurse were chasing after him.
And those
Like,
terrible
Right.
fucking flashing lights. I'm like, come on, what are
right?
you doing?
Like I was like, do they not actually have security here? Did they think they could just control everybody via
Mm.
something technically?
Yeah.
Maybe.
But there's a lot of questions to it. There's a lot of questions to season 3. I'm very interested to see it.
Oh yeah.
But
But I'm glad we're being
why don't?
honest. There's a lot of
Mhm.
questions from this season.
Well, it's a mystery show. Why
Season
wouldn't there be?
one, and I don't know I haven't watched our podcast of season one. I feel like we were probably more like, this was great concept, well executed, yay. Season two, I have a lot of questions. I'm hoping season three answers it. That's not the same.
All right. Well, why don't we give our grades?
I like
And
that. He's like,
we'll see where we land here. Do we get our first peak television series? I don't think so, but we'll see. All right, I'll let Mike go first. What is your grade for Severance season 2?
I think I gave it an A+ for season 1.
oh, well,
Yeah, I
you
think so
scared
too.
the fuck out of me for a second. Hey,
And I'm doing it again. No, I'm gonna go a little lower this year because James made some good points. I still did love the show overall. I love the season really. But I'm gonna go A- this year.
Okay. All right, I'll go next. I'll let James close this out.
A triple plus.
I probably gave it A+2 as well.
What the fuck? Where's this paycheck?
He's talking about last
I was
season.
I was in a great mood last year. This year, little less
Oh,
so.
okay. Oh, okay.
But I think the up to the production design, up some of the acting, smaller bits. So I will gonna go with a straight A. I'm not gonna go full down to A-. I don't think I can do that. I think
Mhm.
I enjoy it. I would look forward to every episode. I feel like mysteries are mysteries. Okay, that's fine. Answering them is tough, and I'm okay with some thin connective tissue if you land the plane. And knowing that there's a season 3 coming, I'm not going to be mad that I don't have all the answers.
Right.
So I'm giving a straight A to Severance season 2.
Wait, what was your
James.
grade again, Mike?
Mine was A-.
A minus and A. All right. Season one was phenomenal. Still did not get an A plus because it was going up. It was going up against Shogun. That was the only A plus I gave out last year. So I gave it an A. I gave season one a straight A, solid A. This season, for all the points that I've mentioned throughout the podcast, it was not at the A value, but it wasn't at a C value.
Okay.
So the conflict for me is, where does it fall in the B category? And I think there was some decent points and theories that Chris mentioned earlier and Mike mentioned later that takes it out of the B minus. But ultimately, I think it's going to land at a B, solid B. Bravo.
Okay.
Some moments were phenomenal. A lot of moments was trash, and then a lot of mid filler stuff for me that I kind of felt like I could have skipped some episodes. That's not good. Definitely not an A-level show for me to feel like that. My grade is a strong and solid B.
That's a good grade. I think that's a good grade. Well, I appreciate you guys coming to talk about Severance with me, and I hope everybody can come online and meet us somewhere at one of these social networks and tell us what they think about Severance and what the grade they would give it. Mike, where can people find us and talk to us online?
Yeah, as usual, all over the internet: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
All
TikTok,
over the internet.
YouTube, Blue Sky, True Social, the right stuff.
Instagram, the right stuff.
Threads.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit the bell to get notifications, and leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought of Severance season 2. Any fan theories of season 3? Let us know in the comments, and we read them all and we'll respond.
We do, and I know a few
Absolutely.
folks will DM me personally about their theories or lack of theories. Leave it in the comment section here so we can all engage
right
with
here.
those theories.
Right.
Please, please, please,
Yeah.
please.
All right, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see everybody next week.
Night.
Adios.
Hey, Indigo made the beat.